4 weeks has led us up to this point in time. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is David Christie alongside Connell Courtney here for a very special evening tonight on the Sim Grid. It is, of course, round 5, the final round of More Female Racers Season 2 here from Imola. Connell, good evening, my friend. What a season it's been.
It has. It's been a cracker. I mean, the first round started off so well. We had Misano, which is probably, I'm trying to think, I'd say it's my favourite race I've ever commentated on. The action was absolutely fantastic. And the momentum hasn't really stopped of this series. We've seen everyone sort of starting to bunch up throughout the season as we predicted. You know, the varying levels of experience are sort of catching up as we go throughout the course of the season. People learning all the way through, and iron sharpens iron, as I say, and you know, some of these co-drivers have really helped some of these less experienced female drivers along, so we should see the highest level race that we have seen all season here at Imola.
Yeah, it's been a wild season so far. We had 2 races at the end of last year. That was Misano and Zandvoort, rounds 1 and 2. And then we had Monza and Silverstone at the beginning of this year, just the past 2 weeks. And what a season it's been already. So many stories to tell, and so many stories that are going to unfold tonight here as well. The first thing that we have to say, Connell, off the bat, is a massive congratulations to the Jean Lacy Esports Academy team, the 956 Mercedes outfit. That is, of course, Mia Rose and Eleonore Rose, who have become champions of the GT3 Pro class. Amazing effort this season from them, and some very well-deserved credit there.
Yeah, absolutely. They've looked absolutely impeccable throughout the season. Some of their pace was absolutely just disgusting, especially through we had Misano. They were pushed quite a lot at Misano. I think Misano was probably their toughest race, and then of course they went 3 wins in a row. Really impressive. And Monza, they just looked absolutely untouchable. Zandvoort, more or less the same thing. We've barely seen them in the car for the past 3 rounds. But then Silverstone, they were trying to go 4 for 4, but unfortunately were I was going to say a little bit over the speed limit at the start. But it was 12 kilometers per hour, so not a lot, but unfortunately for them, that netted them a drive through, and yet they still finished second place, which just goes to show really the pace that they've shown all season long.
Certainly is. And then the Pro-Am class as well is absolutely up in the air tonight. You've got Biscuit Motorsport MFR, the number 95 Godzilla car, Star Girl Racing, Team Edison, and NSM MFR. All in the fight. Remember, 35 points on offer for a win tonight, and anything is possible, especially, you know, when we see what has happened in the previous 4 rounds. So back to that pro table as well. You know, a real battle for second place right now. AAA Esports on 99 points, GTWR Female Racing number 3 on 90 points, Map 1 Racing 85 points. You know, even down to, say, Pineapple Pizza, mathematically possible, you know, with the 68 points. It doesn't look likely, because, you know, it'd have to be one heck of a horrible start to the race. But you can't discount anything until we to get to the end of tonight, Connell.
Yeah, we've seen stranger things in championship deciders, haven't we? I mean, there's been championships decided by half points in certain championships. So yeah, it's never say never. Of course, you have to keep pushing all the way through. It's unlikely, but at the end of the day, your pace is your pace. So you just have to go with what you're comfortable with, go with what your maximum is, and as long as you throw absolutely everything at it, well then what can you say? You've done everything you could possibly do. And yeah, when you get into a championship battle, it's very easy to sweat the external factors, shall we say. You're thinking about the other teams, what they're, but really, I mean, all you need to do and all you need to have in your mind is what you can control. And all that is really is your driving and your strategy. So hopefully these teams will be focusing solely on that, and they should have a cracker of a race then.
That's what we're about to find out tonight. And tonight we are in the heart of Italy. We are in Bologna at the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. And we are here, otherwise known as Imola. An amazing, amazing track. And without further ado, I think it's time that we have an in-depth look at the track.
Hi everyone, I am Josie and I'm going to take you on a more female racers tour around Imola. We're coming along the start-finish straight now and we're going to cross the line right now. Great! The long straight comes to Variante Tamburello, which is 3 corners. You want to slow right down, pick your perfect braking, then turn in and go slow through the first part so you can stay flat out through the next 2 parts of the corner. Then you've got a straight before you reach Villeneuve. This is 2 braking zones. You've got a fast one, you stay on the right, brake a little bit, touch in, then slow down even more for the second part. You've got a little straight now to Tosa, you stay on the right, then make sure to get your position of the car just right so that you can have a good exit, bringing all that traction all the way up the hill to Piratella. Piratella is a quick sweeper of a corner. You want to stay on the right hand side and you need to be careful to turn in nice and early so that you don't leave the track on the outside there. It's really easy to go wide. Then you're going down the hill to Acqua Minerale. It's another quick start of a corner and then a bigger braking zone before you go around the rest of the corner and back up the hill. Now we're heading to Variante Alta. You want to place the car on the left hand side, try and brake between the 100 and the 50 boards, and just try and manage your speed through the chicane, try not to lose it, and use a little bit of the outside curve as you see there. Now we're coming down the hill to the Rivazza corners. It's a downhill braking zone, so you need to brake a little bit earlier than you think you do. Stay on the right to start with, then turn in, use a bit of the curb, set yourself up for the second half of the corner. There we go, and now you're back on the main straight, heading all the way down to the finish line to do a lap of Imola. Hope you enjoyed this lap, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on track for more female races.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do it. But Connell, what a track we've got tonight. We were here in quite a long effort on Saturday, and we know it very, very well. But some big talking points on the circuit. For instance, turn 1, that run down to Tamburello. I think that is going to be the only shot that the AAA Esports team are going to have to make sure that the Jean Lacey team are behind them. After Tamburello, you've then got Acqua Minerale and then Variante Alta, where we saw loads of incidents on Saturday. What parts of the circuit are you going to be looking out for?
Yeah, well, obviously turn 1 is probably the main overtaking hotspot. You can be very creative with certain overtakes here. We've seen it, of course, on Saturday. We've seen it in Endurance Cup, people being taking liberty, shall we say. But yeah, I think turn 1 will be the overtaking hotspot, but I think the key areas in terms of mistakes will be the exits of the chicanes. Now, the run down to Acqua Minerale, we've seen a lot of mistakes, but especially just there, we have in the camera shot, the exit of Acqua Minerale, there was a lot of track limits warnings there we've seen from some of the Endurance Cup teams, so track limits will play a bit of a factor here at Imola, but it's a very flowing track. Momentum is key, so small mistakes really do get punished here, and consistency will pay off.
Yeah, another variable that we just saw there on that wonderful Twitch stream from Charlie Martin there is the weather tonight. It is absolutely pouring it down here at the virtual recreation of Imola, and that means essentially that the curbs tonight are going to be lava for these drivers, Connell.
Yeah, it really is, and there's a lot of curb usage around here, especially as you go through turn 1. You can see it. It's quite easy actually to upset the balance of the car going over sausage curbs, and you run out onto the curbs when you're carrying that momentum. Very inviting to get on the throttle early and run that little bit wider. So yeah, curb usage is quite. You use them a lot around here, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful, especially as we see Jenny Camugli straight into the gravel there, just a little bit of spin and parks it up to go back into pit lane.
Line there, Connell.
Yeah, but I don't think most of the teams will have done very many wet laps around here. Of course, it is the newest track in Assetto Corsa Competizione. So yeah, wet laps, I can't even remember. I don't think I've done any wet laps around here. So yeah, it's the freshest track in the game, and wet laps will probably be limited. Of course, they will have been aware that the track would be less than favourable conditions, so hopefully they've got plenty of practice in during the week.
So if you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome. We are getting ready to amp up the atmosphere here at Imola for the final round of More Female Racers by Thrustmaster. This is, of course, Season 2, and what an amazing season we have had right in front of us as well. It is none other than David Christie and Connell Courtney taking you through tonight. The man himself, Chaz Draycott, is otherwise engaged tonight, so you have to put up with the Scottish man himself, aka myself. But qualifying underway at the moment, and what we'll have to do is we're going to have to give these ladies and these drivers a lap or two to actually get the feeling of the track and get some times in, Coral. But working these cars is so important on these outlaps, isn't it? You have to get the heat in the tyres, you have to get the heat in the brakes, and you have to get, more importantly, that confidence in the car and how it's running.
Yeah, I think in wet sessions more than any wet qualifying sessions, you see quite a lot of the times the best laps happen on the last laps, unless the rain is getting massively heavier in comparison to the start of the session. And that's just based on feeling, as you say. It does take a while in the wet to find out where the grip is. Of course, you have an idea when track grip's optimum. It's this beautiful sunny day. You're pretty much dialed in within a couple of laps. But wet conditions, well, how wet is wet? When you go out, the only way you know is by going out and being out on track. So it does take a while, and of course this qualifying session is only 15 minutes, so that's not a lot of time to get acclimatized to these conditions, 7 or 8 laps. So very difficult for these drivers, and as I said, near track, some of them may not have done as many laps around here, so we should see the fastest qualifying laps coming in right at the end of the session.
That's the other thing as well. It's a constantly evolving thing. So the one thing I love about Assetto Corsa Competizione is the weather system. And being Scottish, you'd think that I love the rain. It could be further from the truth. But it is fascinating in the sim because obviously there's no two parts of the track that are the same. The rain can come down and it forms these unique individual puddles all around the track. And these wet parts, as we see, is that one of the first times come in, a 1:48.0 from Mia Rose. Well, I'm going to take that back about having to give these drivers a lap or two to settle themselves in, because I mean that is outrageous right away. You've obviously got a time coming in there from Alu Gobi with a 1:48.6, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's just pretty much what we've been saying all season, isn't it? I mean, that Sean Lacey Esports Academy team, they have wrapped up the championship, and we have seen them in qualifying and the race just put in some spectacular times. They were sitting there going, "Ooh, that's tough to beat," and only picked off pole position once. That was, of course, in the last round from the number 21 team, and that was Alu Gobi taking that pole position. They're in that race, so yeah, their qualifying record never off the front row so far in the previous 4 rounds, and it doesn't look like they're going to be picked for anything here, because 0.6 of a second buffer already, but that could just be varying in terms of driver adaptability. We see certain drivers can go out on the first lap and boom, set a time, whereas it takes some other drivers just a little while to get settled in. So we'll see. Now it still looks like it's raining pretty heavy, so I don't think conditions will change too much. So these 9 minutes will be critical just to get that feeling, and you'll know as soon as that clock starts winding down to the 3-4 minute mark, you have to start putting in some good times.
100%, buddy, 100% on that one. What I'm finding quite cool on the time screens, oh my goodness me, 1:47.5, are you kidding me? That is absolutely outrageous. Right, Gobi's on a flyer as well, 9/10 up, could go just 0.3 of a second behind Mia Rose, so this track is getting faster and faster. I'm absolutely speechless at that time. 4/10 behind then, cracking lap from Alu Gobi, and now normally we'd be going, Wow, that's an amazing lap from Alu Gobi, but the fact that Mia Rose is just straight away in there with a 147.5 completely overshadows the fact that Alu Gobi just did a 147.9, and you get the feeling that we are not done here. As we see in third place, that's the 177 of Sarah Dove for the GTWR Female Racing number 3 team, and possibly regrouping and having another little go of this. But yeah, I mean, that is just absolutely incredible pace, Connell. Jenny Camoguli, who we can see here for Biscuit Motorsport, the MFR team number 95. Now, if I remember rightly, the Biscuit Motorwork team are in the Pro-Am Championship just now, and they are one of the 4 teams that are in the hunt for tonight. They're leading up, but yeah, half a second from just now. And let's see what Camugli can do across the line just now. It was 4 seconds behind, 3.4 seconds now behind. Great to see, Connell, as well, these improvements all coming through the season, and these drivers all developing their talents as well.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing we get from this series is we just have to pause that for a moment because Michael Hamlet is in our ear. This is going to be an absolute cracker of a lap time. It is going to be a 46 for sure.
Oh, come on.
A second quicker than second place, 2 seconds quicker than third. That is a real statement, isn't it?
Well, it is, but I also wonder how much of a dry line's starting to appear at this track. We've got 20 cars going round and clearing that water. I want to say that, and what do we possibly say to that? Right, we've got a driver that's in the lead that's a second clear of the entire field, at least. Alu Gobi, who is an absolute alien in terms of pace as well, doing a 147.9. And everybody else is just left in their wake. I think that's a very appropriate thing to say in terms of the water that's here. Here we go with the stream from Charlie Martin as she heads her way down into Ravazza to put another lap down. You can see a couple of cars fighting to get track position there in front. And we've got 6.5 minutes up. Right, so what happens here, Connell, is every comms event we do, we've got our production staff behind us. We've got Michael Hamlet and we've got Mike Yai from Simply Race in our earpiece as well, and they feed us information all the time. And every single lap I'm hearing, she's 4 tenths up, she's 5 tenths up, she's 6 tenths up. This is Mia Rose every single lap. How is this possible, Connell?
Yeah, it's certainly very, very impressive. Alu Gobi, it looked good in terms of Gobi being 4 tenths off from qualifying, and boom, a second. There's on top of the 4 tenths that you were thinking, yeah, I have to find 4 tenths. Yeah, I suppose I can see a couple of tenths here and there. No, add another 6 tenths on. You have to find a second. So that is tough for the old mind to handle. But I think Gobi has the talent to bring that. Maybe not the full second, but maybe bring that under a second. And maybe challenge Mia Rose in the first few laps. Someone who's struggling actually is Tia Masante, I'll tell you, who's 7.7 seconds off. Now, we are not used to seeing Tia that far down the order. She's normally fighting top 5, top 6 in those battles, and was actually having her best run of the season so far at Silverstone before getting caught up in a very unfortunate incident. Down in 18th, 7.7 off. That Lamborghini in that wet. Not really liking that combination. Maybe it was down to a lack of track time in the wet. But yeah, Tia has a lot of work to do right now. 18th position is not where you want to be starting around here.
Yeah, I have to apologise to Altea because unfortunately for me and my Scottish pronunciations, she is of course Tia Mazzanti. I spent the entire first race pronouncing her the Amazon, or the Amazanti, I think it was. Yeah, so I do apologise for that one. But yeah, I'll say it down there in 18th. And that's a good observation there, Connell, because as you said, we know she's got the pace to be up there. And just as that happens, up into to 14th place there. So, again, this track is evolving, but they're going to have to get a move on because now we're into 4 minutes.
Yeah, and it's very, very easy for time to slip away in a qualifying session such as this, 50 minutes long. You know, you go out there, you go, all right, 14 minutes, 8 or 9 laps, here we go. And then all of a sudden you have a couple of bad laps, you go into the pits, make a change, and then all of a sudden you have 4 minutes to go and you go, hold on, no, wait, what's going on here? So it's very difficult, and it can be very, very tricky. Of course, I think the preferred strategy is a banker lap early on, so that worst case scenario, if you've a terrible rest of the qualifying session, you at least have something to fall back on. But it's easier said than done, isn't it, to get a banker lap in? And of course, you're always pushing to your maximum qualifying, so a banker lap isn't really far away from your flat out gung ho lap.
Well, that's obviously the preferred way to do it, Connell. But if you're like myself and you've got absolutely no self-control, you get behind the wheel and you're just trying to push it every single lap. So you see Sarah Johnson going across the line here, does a, what was that, a 140, that was a 150, excuse me, that she manages to get across. This is Timea Bensick for the AAA esports team. 6/10 up at the moment. That's going to bring up to third place. So Timea Bensick goes third place in the 977 Ferrari for AAA esports, and of course they are in the hunt for the GT3 Pro for second place. They're trying to hold on from the 177 outfit. Just behind them on the grid of Sarah Dove for the GTWR female racing. Back on board with the Twitch stream then of Altea, and Altea goes across the line there to complete another lap. What does she do just now? Looks like a 150.2, so a decent little improvement there. And Connell, some very fast improvements from Altea there, taking her up into P10.
Yeah, some very stern looks there on her stream. She is very, very focused at the minute, and I've always found myself, of course, out on a wet track that's so much less demanding physically on a bike anyway, but mentally it is so exhausting. I mean, if you're carrying some sort of physical injury, you want it to be wet, but when you're out on track there, the demand, the focus, you can get away with so much more on a dry track. When it's wet, you really can't get away with any mistakes, or you're finding yourself into a wall or into a gravel trap. So mentally it can be very, very draining around here, and we can see the focus that is needed right on cue. Small mistake from Gemma Moore sends her spinning and losing that lap time at the bottom of Aqua Minerale.
Hang on, how did that happen? It's a Boatley. They're supposed to be at home in this sort of weather here. Bentley's found it very, very difficult as well to get any sort of traction. We can see Melissa Taplin for the NSN MFR team, the number 89 outfit, and again, really struggling with these conditions. In the 89, we were expecting to see them further up because, of course, Melissa at the moment, along with Ross McGregor, they're in the hunt for this title for the Pro-Ams. They're down in fourth place at the moment. They took that win last time out at Silverstone, but at the moment, Connell, 16th place, and quite honestly, they're going to have their work cut out tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of times, and there's another lap that is invalidated. They will only have one more crack at the whip here. Yeah, we've seen before the rain being a great leveler and being a mix-up. You know, I think even Bernie Ecclestone went as far as suggesting artificial wetting of the tracks in certain tracks, which was absolute lunacy. But regardless, you know, we do as neutrals love to see a wet weather race every now and then, because it really does spice things up. You know, you see more mistakes from the drivers, you see more of a mixed grid than what you're used to, and we're really seeing it here. Some of the championship favourites, and it's just not what you want, especially if you've been doing a lot of practice and getting ready for dry conditions, and then you find yourself coming to race day and it being wet. I always hated myself just sitting, waking up that morning and hearing the rain patter off the roof of wherever I was staying. It was always just, oh no, what is the point? Why do I do this? But yeah, maybe it's a little bit nicer in the sim where you don't actually get soaked. But Sarah Dove improves her time to 1.6 off the phenomenal time of Maya Rose. Stays where she was in third, but gains a little bit more time and a 10th ahead of Timea Bensick, which could be important for that championship scrap for the podium positions. Now, Gemma Moore has looked strong throughout this session. Of course, the number 24 Bentley, not necessarily in the championship hunt, as we have seen. But they can always come back. You know, there's plenty of opportunity with the points that are on offer, and with the conditions here that we have seen. We could see a couple of DNFs. I mean, we've seen a couple of destroyed cars throughout the course of the season. But Gemma Moore comes across the line. Bentley Team M Sport And where is she going to go? Will she go anywhere? Will she improve? We've seen her. Yes,
Wow.
she does. 5th place, 2.6. So took almost 7 tenths off there on that lap. And that really is a statement of intentions from that team.
It certainly is, and this is another driver that's impressed me quite a lot. Jenny Kamugli, the Nissan GTR for Biscuit Motorsport MFR, up into 8th place, goes across the line there. We also saw Altea Book just briefly moving up into 6th place there. So despite the earlier concern, we saw them down in 16th place there. Altea Book up into 6th place with a 149.698. So pole position then for Mia Rose, 146.9. It's then a Lou Gobi in 2nd place with a 147.928. Sarah Dove in 3rd place with Tamea Bensick in 4th, and that is going to be a very, very tight battle throughout the course of the next hour. Gemma Moore takes 5th place alongside Altea Book for row 3. Row 4 is going to be 7th place of Sarah Johnson, and then Jenny Kamugli in 8th place. 9th and 10th is Sarah Moore alongside 10th place of Yvonne Vandenberg. 11th place is Charlie Martin alongside 12th place of Verena Mai. Celine Richer in 13th, Maren Edwards in 14th, Hedda Rangset in 15th place with Melissa Taplin in 16th, Annalise Riot in 17th place with Andy Lab in 18th. It's then Sarah Fair in 19th position, and then at the back of the grid, Charlotte Robertson in the number 11 car. So there we go, the Lexus at the back of the grid for Hitode Racing. And Connell, we have got one heck of a final race coming up tonight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, we do have those horrible, horrible conditions for the drivers. Great for us neutrals and the people covering it. But yeah, we should, in theory, given the our extensive history in motorsport of wet weather races, we should see a bit of a mix-up on the grid, a few mistakes from some of the drivers, and yeah, it should be an absolute belter, especially around one of the most beautiful circuits in the world.
Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. So we're just moments away then from round 5, the final round of More Female Racers by Thrustmaster here on the Sim Grid. In the meantime, we will take a very short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be live on the grid. It all leads up to this then, ladies and gentlemen. The cars are getting themselves onto the grid for the final round of More Female Racers by Thrustmaster here on the Sim Grid. This is Season 2. This is David Christie alongside Connell Courtney with live coverage of tonight's final round. So many stories going to unfold over the next 60 minutes. If you're brand new to this season and you've never seen this before, it's going to be a 60-minute race with 2 drivers, one female driver and their co-driver as well. The co-driver does not have to be female, but it's, you know, be awesome if we could see an all-female team, and I know there's at least 1 or 2 out there on the circuit tonight. Connell, again, going to the championship, obviously the Pro Championship is wrapped up. Jean Lacey Esports Academy, we mentioned earlier, of Mia and Zanori Rose taking that one in. You've got, it's difficult to say anything else, but in dominant fashion. They've just ruled the season so far, but still places to play for on that podium tonight. Just looking through the rest of the pro standings, you've got AAA Esports, GTWR Female Racing and Map 1 Racing all fighting it out for those 2nd and 3rd places in GT3 Pro. Then you go to Pro Am and it is just a melee right now. You've got 4 teams battling it out. You've got Biscuit Motorsport MFR, look out for the number 95. That is, of course, Jenny Kamugli in the Nissan GTR alongside Declan Bowler. Stargirl Racing in the 335 outfit of Verena Mai and Gregor Schill. Team Edison Genius Racing Bulbs in the 587 outfit. That is, of course, Maren Edwards and Victoria Thompson. And then the NSN MFR outfit of the Bentley. That's the number 89, Melissa Taplin. And you can see all of those cars, within the top 15 cars right now. So yeah, we are getting ready to go. 3 minutes left to go, and the cars and the drivers just making their final changes through the grid right now. But a very good evening to everyone that is joining us on the YouTube chat tonight. I hope you're enjoying all of the action. That was an awesome qualifying session, and very, very much looking forward to the race as well. So, as I said, 60-minute race. We will have a pit stop for a driver change. You can see that in the column on your top left there. The one in the orange signifies that the drivers still have a pit stop to do, and then the drivers will move themselves over, and their co-driver will jump in as well. And what you will see as well is, don't expect the pace that we saw in qualifying in the race. Now, I say that with one exception. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about that. Hopefully you didn't notice anything, right? I may have accidentally kicked the plug underneath the desk, so I do apologise for that. Right, I'll take the hit for that one. A minute left to go, and we are building up. Welcome back, everyone, and just in time as well. Coddle Courtney, I didn't notice your message, buddy, so I almost threw you under the bus there. But yeah, a minute left to go, and we've got so many stories that are going to be unfolding over the next 60 minutes, don't we?
Yeah, of course, championship deciders here, and it's always extra bit of tension when there's championship deciders at the final race of the year. You get it 2 or 3 races before, and it's normally one team that has to do whatever, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then they wrap up the championship. Here, it can all go horribly wrong on a final race championship decider. We've seen it so many times over the course of any motorsport that you follow. So it's a lot of tension for the driver, a lot of extra pressure. Everything has to be right. I'm sure they've been over-analysing everything, and even pit stops. Of course, we've seen actually the John Lacey eSport team. They lost 4 seconds, I believe, at Zandvoort. Was it Zandvoort or Monza? One of the two in pit lane. So, for instance, if that same thing happened to one of the championship teams, they'd be in real trouble.
Just watching the cars as they grid off here and making their way around the through, and I've got a horrible feeling. P2, Alu Gobi has either had an issue or forgot to press drive. Now, I can't say anything because I've actually done that in about 3 races where I've had a last minute stop. I've either been making a coffee or having a comfort break, shall we say, and forgot to get back in time and press start. So yeah, that is a bit of a monumental issue for Lugobi. And while the championship is already decided, what they have to watch out for is the fact that they're kind of fighting it out in that map 1 race, and they were looking to get into a podium position for the championship, and that pretty much nukes their chances right now.
Yeah, it's going to have to be some charge through the field, isn't it? Of course, starting from pit lane, that's an absolute disaster. So for those new to ACC or racing in general, once you start from pit lane, you have to wait for the last car to pass the exit of pit lane before you're even allowed to go, you're even allowed to start. So that's a long gap already. But Gobi had pace. There is a good spread throughout the field. So if a couple of the front runner teams who they are battling with for the championship have some incidents, they could actually find themselves being brought back into the championship hunt. But unfortunately for the Gobi team, it is out of their hands. They have to rely on external factors such as the other teams making mistakes, which is never a position you want to be in, as you have a crack at whatever position you're targeting in the championship.
weather conditions are abysmal here at Imola. The rain is pouring down the track. It's absolutely sodden from end to end. But we are about to embark on 60 minutes of amazing racing here at the Sim Grid in association with Thrustmaster for more female racers. The season finale builds up to this. The cars making their way around the circuit. We're at Variante Alta, and I think that is going to be the scene of many, many crimes tonight. We're watching the stream from Altea Book, Tea Mazzanti, on board with her just now, and then we will cut to your leaders as they make their way round to the rest of the track. But Mia Rose now has pretty much handed herself, or had this race handed to them on a plate here as we head down into Ravazza. Connell, just finally before we take the green flag, what do you think we're going to see here tonight?
Well, judging by the pace, I think the John Lacey Esports team will start checking out early. I don't think it's in third or fourth Dove or Benzic's best interest to try and overdrive to try and catch the Mia Rose car, because I just think Mia has too much pace. But I think there'll be some very entertaining mid-pack battles, and of course we will have the championship scrap that no doubt will go right down to the wire.
Well, get your pens and paper ready, because the story of More Female Racers Season 2 is about to reach its final chapter. We roll down towards the start line here. It's going to be Mia Rose in the 956 Mercedes taking the start line and getting us across the line. The green flag drops and we are about to go racing. Ladies and gentlemen, there we go. And off we start then. Mia Rose in the lead, and that is a cracking run from Tamea Bentic side by side then with Dove, and they're on the run down to the first corner. Tamburello is the left-hander there, and it's all very orderly so far. Oh, and that's Mia Rose has made an uncharacteristic error there, absolutely botched the corner, and Mia Rose drops down. That's got to be 7th place. Right. I got excited there. I do apologise. Right, sorry. I saw on the camera, just to explain what happened there, I saw what I thought was Mia Rose, but it ended up being Sarah Dove in the other car there. Right, Carl, do you want to take over for a second while I go and try and calm down and get my old person glasses on there?
Get the specs on you, boy. A bit of a disaster, of course. She is still looking for that top 3 in the championship, and that's not a good start. Looking just in front of her, 2 positions gained will not get her any extra championship points, because that is Pro-Am drivers in front of her. So the silver or grey background is Pro-Am cars, whereas the white background is Pro cars. So she's just behind one of the Pro cars now, actually. One of the Pineapple car, Sarah Johnson. Charlie Martin up ahead of her, Yvonne Vanderberg, Jenny Kamugli in 5th, but Gemma Moore, who was the number 24 Bentley, of course, now leading Pro-Am class. So that number 24 really, if you want to talk about spanner in the works, Gemma Moore is really being the spanner in the works here in terms of the championship contenders, because that number 24 car, 3rd at Zandvoort, it did not start at Misano, did not finish at Monza, and a 6th at Silverstone, so they are way out of the hunt for the championship. So actually, if you think about it, if you're Jenny Kamugli, having Gemma Moore in front taking the big points for a win, and you being directly behind in 2nd, not the worst thing in the world, is it?
It certainly is not. And just watching Charlie Martin here, fantastic start from her. Started in 11th place up to 7th already in the Turn 1 MFR machine, the number 100, making their way down through the second set of chicanes here. This is Villeneuve, and it's on the run down to Tosa. And having a look on Altea Book is the number 95 of Jenny Kamugli on the run out of Tosa there. That GTR just looks so happy in the solid wet weather. What we find as well, Connell, is the fact that the GTR, it doesn't like those in-between stages. It doesn't like when it's just starting to rain, and it doesn't like it when it's just starting to dry out. But in the wet or in the dry, it is just an absolute monster.
Yeah, we've seen Jenny Kamugli have some fantastic races, some fantastic fight through the field as well in a few of the races, not just in Season 2, but also Season 1. Now, we've had an incident for Yvonne Vanderberg at Aqua Minerale, so she might be dropping down the order. There's Sarah Dove already recovering, has got past Sarah Johnson in that pineapple car, and is now trying to hunt down Charlie Martin. So that is already a good bit of recovery driving from Sarah Dove, trying to claw those points back. Of course, she's got Benzik in third on overall, but second in class, and Tia Book going for the first podium in class that number 150 car will have this season. So Tia's been actually getting a lot better throughout the course of the season too, improving every time out. I did say that Silverstone, up until the incident she was involved in, was her best drive really of the season, and this might top it at the minute because she's having a sterling effort. Of course, she had a bit of a disaster at the start of qualifying. We didn't know what was going on. 4 seconds off the pace, or 7 seconds off the pace, and was sitting in 18th in the grid, but recovered right at the end of the qualifying session. Now this is the issue for Sarah Dove. Just spins it up. Just tries to get on the power a little bit too early. Does very well not to actually clatter into anybody. It was a relatively clean first few corners, and Sarah Dove was the only major incident that we've seen, and did very well actually to avoid everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Just up in front of this battle here. This is Sarah Dove alongside Johnson, but this is the battle then for 5th place, and for 4th place. Kamugli just sends it up the inside of Altea Pick. Oh, and Altea Pick loses it on the exit of the corner there. That car just held on to there. Very well done from Altea, but that loses her massive time and puts her under big pressure here from Charlie Martin. And she's also got the number 177 of Sarah Dove right now. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact there from Sarah Dove. These two fighting it out. The number 8 of Sarah Johnson also going to get brought into this battle as well. We're going to have a 4-car battle for 5th place very, very soon. Awesome stuff. Oh, there we go. A little mistake from Charlie Martin, and that hands the place to Sarah Dove. So Charlie Martin down into 7th place now, and that is going to hand Sarah Dove 6th place. So they swap over, and this is on the run down to Ravazza. So just 5 minutes gone in this race already, and quite a lot of drama already unfolding. So crazy, crazy stuff. And what has happened to Altea Brick, because she just dropped off there. She just went off at Ravazza, and she's now down in 8th place. Wow, this is just craziness, Connell. So,
this is really just a product of wet weather racing, and especially around here. I mean, momentum is everything, as we said. Dipping a toe into the gravel at the last corner. That is a long front straight, and you've seen just how slow Tia was coming out of the corner and was swamped by the remaining cars. So now Sarah Dove has actually made her way up into 5th. So again, a lot of positions in these opening few laps. Sarah Dove 3rd in class now, which is a good recovery, saying how the first few corners went. Sarah Johnson now trying to challenge Charlie Martin. They won't be top Bentley because Gemma Moore is currently top Bentley in 2nd place. And what a drive from Gemma Moore. This has been an absolutely stellar drive so far in the first few laps of this race. I mean, we haven't really seen Gemma Moore and that 24 Bentley be anywhere near where they are right now, but it's a cracking drive. As you see, Sarah Ferrer now, as in a big battle with Marion Edwards. A little bit of contact as we go over the crest of the hill. No harm done there though. Marion trying to get the power on a little bit early. You can see there, we've seen it with Sarah Dove in the replay of the first lap incident. Just getting a little bit greedy on the throttle can have just so many disastrous effects. As you see Marion getting the run out of Aqua Minerale. I think that was an incident for Sarah Ferrer. Now here is the issue for Tia. It wasn't even the run coming out of the corner. It was a little bit of snap. She tried to correct it and then find herself into the gravel. Full car into the gravel, and that is why she lost so much time. 3 positions lost in the space of 50 metres. Not great. But she has good pace and she can bounce back.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly another 50 minutes in which to do that. However, I'm going to distract you for a minute, Connor. What I want you to do is I want to have you to have a look up that top left corner of our screen here. And you see Mia Rose has done 4 laps. I want you to explain to me how she's got an 8-second gap in four laps. How on earth is that possible? That is just scandalous pace right now.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? About 2 seconds a lap already, quicker than the field. Of course, everyone else has been scrapping, where Mia has had some clean air, but even with Gemma Moore now getting clean air, there's no way that she's going to be able to catch Mia Rose. That was very close. If you've just seen that while I was babbling to you, really send it up the inside of that Lexus, really making the presence felt, and starting to get onto a little bit of recovery drive. I believe she's had another incident in the time we were watching that replay, because she was just on the back of the group that she lost positions to, and now she's about 2 seconds back to that group. Now here's Luke Obi, who'll be ruined whatever that issue was at the start of the race. Maybe not click and drive, or maybe having a few issues that need to be returned to the garage. I don't know. We suspect it was not click and drive in time, and sent to pit lane. Already up in the 14th though, and she's got some fantastic pace. 1.7 behind Marion Edwards and Verena May. And Marion Edwards actually has lost 9 seconds to Verena May, so obviously that battle has gone on, and Marion Edwards has made a mistake of some sort, because she has lost a lot of time when they were pretty close together all but a lap ago.
So just saying here, because I think Altea's gone off again. She has. So Altea Book really struggling with that car. That's the 3rd lap in a row that she's had some sort of incident going out into Rivata, or out of Rivata. This is Sarah Moore alongside the number 66 of Celine Witcher. Oh, huge contact! Massive smash from Celine Witcher into the back of the number 87 of Sarah Moore, and that is going to be huge damage to that car. Race control, I can feel the hotline on that one getting wound up already, and that is a horrible accident. You hate to see it, and you almost never see that sort of thing happening here. Wow, that is what happens when you touch the brake pedals and you've got absolutely nothing there, Connell.
Yeah, it looks as though Witcher got onto the grass, and that got her a little bit spooked. Tried to get back on the track, and then by the time she was back on track, unfortunately she had nowhere to go, and she was trying to get on the brakes, couldn't, and smashed into the back of Sarah. Poor Sarah had absolutely no clue what was going on until she was finding herself in a gravel trap facing the tyre wall. That was very unfortunate for Sarah Moore. No doubt Race Direction will be burning their hands with how furiously they'll be writing to the stewards and giving their penalties. But who that's helped is Verena May. 335, of course, second in the championship, 5 points off Biscuit Motorsport. That has promoted her up 2 positions in the race, of course, Pro-Am positions, which is crucial to their championship. And now Gemma Moore's had an issue, because she's just dropped positions. She's plummeting down the order. Don't quite know what's going on, and that has given Jenny Camugli the lead. So it did seem as though it was going to be advantage 335 Ferrari there for inheriting 2 positions without having done much work. But now Jenny Camugli has inherited the lead without having to make a pass. So the twos and fro's of a championship battle in the last race of the season, it is pretty horrible, isn't it?
Oh, that is really brutal. If you've just joined us, like Otto van Fledermaus, he is asking why the 21 of Alugobi is all the way back in 12th place. Well, they didn't start on the grid. They qualified second, but they ended up starting from pit lane. We don't know the answer why they went to pit lane, but we'll sure as heck try to find out after the race tonight. 47 minutes left to go in this race, and Jenny Camugli, let's actually give the proper attention that's needed here, because this is an inspired drive from Jenny right now. Just 4 seconds behind Tamea Benzik in second place there in the 977. Pro-Am class as well, and she is absolutely up there and just knocking lumps right now of the tops. So this is just awesome stuff. I know we're away to get some updated graphics shortly, thanks to Mike out at Simply Race and Michael Hamlet behind the scenes. We can actually give you live updates of the championships tables as it stands. So this is the live championship table then for this will be the Pro-Am class. Biscuit Motorsport, you see there, 150 points, and then you've got Stargirl Racing 135, Team Edison 122, NSN MFR doing the piggyback staying there in 4th place, and Moore Freaky Racing in 5th place with 94 points. So it's all as you were, really. We just need to see how that's going to pan out over the next 45 minutes. Celine Witcher being given a 15-second penalty. Almost certainly that'll be for that collision. We've got a replay coming up here, and let's have a look. Is this... Oh, that is a huge moment there for the number 14. That is Yvonne Vandenberg, and that's going to be her second incident of the evening here. So, yeah, not the best outcomes right now. Jenny Kamugli just falling a little bit back off of Tabea Benzik there in 2nd and 3rd place. This is Sarah Johnson for Team Pineapple, just a second behind Charlie Martin in the number 100 Turn 1 Bentley just now. So both these Bentleys doing fairly well. We've got a bit of a train call for 5th, 6th and 7th place in the Bentley, but I've got to be honest, that Lamborghini looks very, very tricky right now to drive. This is a replay here, and is this another replay of Yvonne here? Is that the same corner? So that's the same corner, but she's just had a different moment at each side, so that looks like that is Variante Alta. That is the no, in fact, actually, that's just Aqua Minerale just after the corner there. So this is back with Sarah Dove on the back of Jenny Kamugli trying to get that 3rd place back. Declan Bowler on chat, Connell, is asking us both, how do you think these front wheel drive and mid-engine cars are dealing with the conditions, and which would you rather be dealing? Which would you rather be driving? So the front engine cars and the mid engine cars.
Yeah, well, I think just going off what we've seen, I mean, the Mercedes is the strongest car around here. There's no denying that the Merc is the strongest car. It just really seems to absorb the curbs well. All the bumps that Imola has to offer, really, and that is a dive by Lou Gobi. Has a great pass on Sarah Witcher, makes her way up to 10th now. But yeah, I think the Mercedes is the class act around this track. Funny enough, I have driven as hello Jenny Kamugli. That is not the line you want to take, and that's going to be Sarah Dove inheriting that 3rd position overall. Jenny Kamugli off the podium overall, but when you look at it, actually she is still leading the Pro-Am class, but for how much longer? Because Gemma Moore is starting to put the pressure on, and I was seeing Gemma ahead of these two, both, and having really, a great pace to go to beat Benzik as well, but unfortunately made whatever mistake it was, and she dropped behind these girls. So these ladies will be getting into a bit of a scrap right now for the win of the Pro-Am. But going back to the question, yeah, I think the Mercedes class act, but the Lexus also is very strong around this track. The Merc is a little bit sensitive. It can be the fastest on paper, but over the course of a race distance, it can be a little bit of a struggle. We've seen that actually in the Endurance Cup. Most of the accidents were coming from Merc Evo cars. So yeah, it's sensitive, but if you've got the right feeling with it and the right setup, the Merc is the car to be on. If not, I think you can look at either the Lexus or the Aston for stability. As we see, that is a little bump from Gemma Moore to Jenny Kamugli. It's hot and up here, David.
Yeah, that was getting a little bit interesting there, but that's a great point. And Declan, I think Connell's just answered my part of it as well. The Merc for me is the car to be in. However, personally as well, I do like the Bentley. I am a very aggressive driver, and I find a car that is well balanced and stable really kind of calms me down a wee bit, and it teaches me to drive a little bit smoother. The Bentley really does lend itself to that, as we see Sarah Johnson having a little look up the inside of Charlie Martin. Nothing more than making that car visible in the mirrors right now. But yeah, for me, the Bentley probably would be my safer car to take, but I do like the Merc. It can really put down the power, and oh my goodness me, sorry, just got a little bit distracted there. So Jenny Moore coming in very hot, contact, spin round for Jenny Kamugli. We're praising her for how well she's doing in that car, and she loses it under braking out of Toza and hands the 4th place to Jenny Moore. Unfortunate incident there, and again, this is a point I was making earlier on, Connell. This track is evolving all the time. Just when you think you know exactly where the traction is, these puddles appear and they can catch it out at any moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the thrill, I would say, of a wet weather race. We just don't know until the checkered flag is gone. That's Charlie Martin lost it again at the bottom of Aqua Minerale, just coming out of Aqua Minerale. We've seen a lot of cars go off there, but it was the first Bentley, I believe, we've seen go off there. But definitely the Lamborghinis have been struggling there, and Charlie Martin herself is struggling. Now, Kamugli, it depends. Does she have damage? Because although Verena May seems to be about 15 to 18 seconds behind Jenny Kamugli, if she has some repairs to do, that leaves the co-drivers of the Kamugli and Mai camp with a little bit more tense battle, because obviously Mai, from what we've seen, has stayed out of trouble, no real damage to pick up, and will be gaining time in the pit lane if we suspect Kamugli will be repairing said damage that she inherited there. Depends obviously how damaged that car is. We'll see by her drop in pace now, but it looks as though Kamugli has at least a bit of damage to deal with in pit lane. So yeah, it just shows you just how championships can turn on its head. It really looked as though Jenny Kamugli had this championship wrapped up all but 2 minutes ago, and then one mistake can turn things on its head, as we see Charlie Martin again, that mistake at Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, it's hard to say because, of course, it's so difficult going round lap after lap trying to keep your concentration. And you've mentioned before about you racing the bikes, Connell, so you'll know as well. As well as dealing with the rain on the track, what you have to deal with is that mental rain as well. And what I mean by that is that as soon as you start seeing those drops on, for in your case, on the visor, but for the driver's here case, on that windscreen, your mentality changes. Suddenly you become a little bit more cautious, you become a little bit more tentative about putting that accelerator down, because you know instinctively things aren't going to be the same as if it was a completely dry day and a completely dry track. So they're having to deal with their own mindset as well. Now we've got two penalties coming up here on lap 6 between the 66 and the 87 car, 15 seconds to the number 66 car, so that is Celine Witcher, so that's confirmation of that earlier penalty. I can also see now car number 18, this was pointed out to me in YouTube chat, Sarah Fair of the Red Velvet Racing team getting a 15-second penalty as well. I'll double check what that's for. And you can see Hedda Rangzater in the Turn 1 Pro Am team, the 101, really having a fight with these micro adjustments on the car, hitting the bumps, hitting the curbs, and you can see how twitchy that car is all over the back of Fair in that 18 Ferrari. I've got to be honest, that pace is really dropping off from Sarah Fair right now, and I wouldn't want to be in that Ferrari.
No, not particularly as far as a notoriously sensitive car drive. We've
What
seen
there. Does Variante Alta just not exist there, Connell?
Apparently not. But sure, you know, as long as you get away with it, you're grand, aren't you? But yeah, it's that was an interesting line, shall we say?
It's a bold strategy. I'm sure that Race Control will have a lot to say about this. Right, what is this? This is the number 587. So this is Martin Edwards. This is the battle you were talking about, because we saw Martin Edwards going down through the pack and losing a bit of time there. Cooked on the brakes, had a little look, and just very, very late on the brakes there. That was a lucky escape, you've got to say there, Coral.
Yeah, it was as you can get away with them maybe a few times in the wet, but more often than not, you generally have a nice trip into the gravel or some car damage. But yeah, was able to get it back. And Marion Edwards having actually a very good drive, probably the best of her season currently, sitting in 13th place and pushing Yvonne Vandenberg, which is no mean feat to be up close to Yvonne Vandenberg in that number 14 car. Yvonne's having a bit of a nightmare in that Lamborghini, had a few incidents already and has dropped down the order. But yeah, great drive for Marion Edwards so far. That 587 car, a Team Edison car, of course. She will be throwing the car over to Vicky Thompson as we get closer and closer to the pit window, about 7 minutes until we see these drivers making their pit stops, their final drive of the season, their final few minutes of the season for these individual drivers, not the teams. But here is the runaway leader. Oh goodness me, I was just about to say runaway leader, but one of the backmarker Mercedes on the inside of Aqua Minerale, almost rejoining the track. And Mia Rose, great awareness there, must have cracking peripheral vision to avoid that incident. Takes a bit of avoiding action, goes wide, exceeds track limits, but obviously no time is gained, so there will be no track limit warnings. But my oh my, it just really shows you that it isn't over until you're across that line in that checkered flag.
Now hang on, what has happened to Gemma Moore? Because she's managed to do the jump on 177 of Sarah Dove. Sarah Dove now down in 5th place there. So Gemma Moore moves up to 3rd place, and that means that Jenny Camugli back up into 4th place there. So yeah, that is awesome stuff. So Dove's obviously had a moment and went off, and now onto the back of Camugli again, and having to make all that work happen. But have a look at that, because there's the Bentley in the background. That's why she was moving over to the right hand side, because the number 8 Bentley of Sarah Johnson is looking very menacing indeed. 36 minutes left to go in the race, ladies and gentlemen. That means within the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to start seeing pit stops. It was Annalise Riot in the Team Dresch 42 outfit, I think, that we saw spinning and almost nuking your race leader. But here we go. So pit window opens, 32 minutes remaining. That means that 3.5 minutes left to go. And strategy is going to be so important here tonight, Connell, because it's very possible, if you're like in Camugli, Dove and Johnson's case, you could quickly get an undercut done depending on when you pit.
Yeah, of course, strategy could win championships and have done in the past. Now, Camugli's damage will be something we'll have to watch. We'll have to watch her overall pit stop time, because she did have that incident earlier on in the race. So we'll see. It doesn't seem to be holding her up too much. Of course, she can't really keep up with the pace of Gemma Moore, but she's certainly keeping Sarah Dove a bit for the time being, as we have a brilliant shot out the back of that Nissan. And I mean, this number 95 team, the only team running the Nissan, not the favourite car, I don't think, on any track, really. You always have a more of a car of choice. But Jenny really showing that she can hustle that Nissan around anywhere, really, throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the GTR fans are going to be absolutely up in arms at you saying that. But Verena May has absolutely lost it at Tulsa. Just recovering just now and trying to make her way back right now in the 335 machine she has, and she's on her way through Piratella just now. But that means that she has lost that gap that she had to Charlie Martin, trying desperately to catch back up. And in fact, she's away behind Altea Book now, so I think that is going to put her down to around about 11th place or 10th place. We'll see that one switch around just now. But 35 minutes left to go. Again, this is fascinating. I said this on Saturday, Connell. This is like a chess match. The way that this is all just very slowly making its way around. We've got another yellow flag. It's quickly resumed. But Camugli, after her early pace, that damage on that car, I think, is really leaving her quite vulnerable to the 177 of Sarah Duff behind her.
Yeah, and that's not actually what Verena May would have wanted to be. The last thing she wanted was to make that mistake and lose positions, because she can see her championship rival Jenny Camugli should probably be told by her team and her teammate about what has been happening up at the sharper end with the number 95. Of course, they are 1 and 2 in the Pro-Am Championship. So once she heard that Camugli made a mistake, it was very important for Verena just to stay out of trouble, stay clear, no damage done, and I presume this will be the incident. Just gets it a little bit wrong, a little bit of a snap. Doesn't make the mistake there. It's going to be at the toes of hairpin. Might be taking a little bit too much curb and just a silly spin round. Doesn't lose them. I spoke too soon.
You hate to see it, do you?
Time. Tried to get a little bit greedy in recovering and not lose as much time as she was going to, but then ended up losing even more time with a full 180-degree rotation. And that is a lot of time lost, but crucially, no damage done, so she might get that time back to Camugli in regards to Camugli having to repair the car. Pit window is now open, so we'll see who will pit immediately. Of course, Camugli and Dove are fast approaching the entrance to pit lane.
I've got to give you a little bit of perspective on this, and something that is leaving my jaw pretty much on the ground right now. Every single driver on this track. Oh, and Sarah Dove! I'll come back to that in a minute, because Sarah Dove gets a big tank slapper and straight off at the exit of Ravazza, and that is going from bad to worse for Sarah Dove, and into the pit lane she comes. Well, that is a hideous run of luck there. Mia Rose to Mia Benzing. Oh, up the inside there. That's the number 21 of Lou Gobi. Wow. Up into the top 9 then. And that was Verena Mai that goes down. I'll tell you what, a Lou Gobi to come from pit lane start into the top 10 at the first half of the race. Incredible stuff, incredible stuff. Back to the point I was making. Every single driver, with the exception of a Lou Gobi, is doing 151s and 152s. Mia Rose is still doing 148s. I just don't get it. I don't get it. The absolutely massive difference in pace. The skill that Mia Rose has got is just incredible.
Yeah, she's having an absolutely outstanding drive. Hasn't put a wheel wrong yet and has come into the pits, and that is Mia Rose done for the race, done for the season. And yeah, what a drive and what a season for Mia herself individually. And yeah, her teammate isn't half bad either, is she? I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, fantastic squad that they have. And the John Lacey Esports Academy team wrapped up the championship already with this round still in play. But yeah, it's very, very unfortunate for Verena May to have, one, a bad qualifying, two, that incident at Tosa, because she could be right up there. But still, once we get to the driver swaps, we will see how things are going. Of course, Verena May's teammate is none other than Gregor Schill, and we know just how fast Gregor is in that car and how he can do in terms of drives up through the field. Interestingly enough, one of the only drivers yet to pit is Jenny Camugli, your Pro-Am Championship leader as things stand, and here she comes into the pits, and what a stellar season 2 from Jenny Camugli.
And here's an interesting fact via Declan Bowler. Jenny hadn't driven in ACC before starting this series. So again, that just shows what incredible progress has been made over the season there. This is what I love about this series, is the fact that, you know, there's all types of skill levels, from, you know, complete beginners to fully fledged sim racers, and everyone is welcome here as we get the other co-drivers into the cars. Then this is the battle of Jack Noller in the 24 machine. This is the Team J outfit. Just behind is going to be Gira Turkia in the Pineapple Pizza machine up into 5th place. Seemingly got the jump, so amazing work there for Jiri to get that work done. But here we go. Oh, Jiri up the inside. This is into Ravazza, then going to be side by side. Beautiful move. Absolutely textbook move there for Gira Turkia to make that move stick, and that is going to be 4th place there, and Jack Noller down into 5th.
Yeah, that was a fantastic pass. We don't actually often see that pass get done. Maybe it's just a case of wet conditions. Just throwing up a few different lines or a few different passing opportunities. And certainly Turkey squared the corner off, got the car stood upright, well, got the car pivoted around and whacked on the throttle. You could see the jump he got through the first sector, or the first part of that corner, and that was absolutely fantastic. Jack Noller had no response, and Turkey is absolutely checking out. And that Pineapple team have shown flashes of brilliance so far this season, but no doubt a podium will be an absolutely fantastic way to end that season for them.
Yep, so it's all change at the front of the grid. We'll come back to that in a second. Here is a replay of the start then, and this is at the back of the grid. This is the Ferrari, and I believe, is that the... Wow! Oh, that's why the penalty was given then for the number 18 car of Sarah Fair. That was huge contact, and that looked very brutal indeed, Connell.
Yeah, it's not even into turn 1 yet, and there was a few incidents. We've seen that actually in the Endurance Cup as well. There was a few incidents before we even got into turn 1. It's a bit narrow there. You're fighting for track position, and there's a little bit of a kink. and you're desperate to get the inside line in the chicane, so there can be a little bit of bumping and boring, and we've seen incidents like that in the past. Now, Andrews in the car for the number 95 to try and wrap up that championship, but I tell you what, watch out for Gregor Schill. As we see, one of the GTWR cars, Tivo Props, that was in the gravel. He has just inherited the car from Sarah Dove, and he's into the pits. So this is an absolute disaster for that team. And don't forget, when we look at the Pro Championship, they are third in the championship right now.
Oh no.
Map 1 Racing are fourth in the championship. So Map 1, having started from pit lane, with the great work that Alou Gobi has done, if Jens Kaiser can bring this home, could actually leapfrog the GTWR team and take home that third in the championship.
Oh no, I've got a horrible feeling. It's a proper pit stop. I've got a horrible feeling. I'm sure I heard this in my ear. Did he put on slicks when he got in the car? That is, and that would be a very, very tricky car to drive. I would have expected much more chaos from the car if that was the case, but we'll find out in a second. This is Oscar Sandberg in the number 100 Turn 1 MFR car. Teammates, of course, with Charlie Martin, now handed that 5th place on a platter, now chasing down Jack Noller for that 4th place as well. And the number 100 car, currently 7th in the championship, and will absolutely be delighted if they can take this position just now. 5th place would be their best finish this season if it was to last. That's the number 95 that Connell was just mentioning, of Daniel Andrews in the Biscuit Motorsport MFR outfit. Teammates with Jenny Camugli, and on the way down to Variante Alta for 25 minutes left to go in this race. It's still Inori Rose who is out in front by a country mile. 148.3 was the last lap round there, and a 40-second advantage over the 977 car in second place of Adam Pinces for AAA Esports. Pro standings are about to come out on your screen just in a second. We'll keep you updated with that. No real surprises at the top. Jean Lacey Esports, Esports Academy team, 170 points of Mia Rose and Inori Rose there. And Jack Noller then falls back to 5th place there, as Oscar Sandberg moves up into 4th. Back to the grid though. AAA Esports then, the 977 outfit, into 2nd place. Again, no change with that one. But as Connell was saying, the huge news, the huge bombshell news is that Map 1 Racing will take this by 1 point if they stay where they are, and if that GTWR Racing number 3 team, the 177 of Thibaut Prost, can't make any headways right now. It's a very thin wire that he's got for that one. I think he will possibly make up some more places before the end of the race, Coral. But we did say that this story was going to unfold tonight, and 35 minutes ago, I don't think me or you would have predicted any of this right now.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's been absolutely stunning. Now, I want to point out, Jack Noller is now only 9/10 ahead of Declan Andrews, and that is for the Pro-Am lead. More importantly though, Declan Andrews' last lap, Noller had a terrible lap. He did a 154, so clearly a mistake was happened there with Jack Noller. Andrews did a 150. Gregor Schill in the 335 did a 148. He's just gone over the line, did a 49.3. So he is second.
He's got the hazards on. I wonder if the same's happened to Jack Noller. I wonder if he's on slicks as well. You pointed that out. That's been both his laps that were 154s, Connell. So he is very, very slow in that car. We'll find out on the exit of Ravazza here. I wonder if Jack Noller is really, really struggling in that car. He decides to keep it going on, but that is very unusual.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's damaged from an incident or something. He's obviously staying out. If you were on slick tires, you'd be into the pits immediately, because trying to get round on slick tires around here will be a very difficult task. But everyone is gapping him so quickly and catching up to him at such a rapid pace. There has to be something wrong. I don't know what quite is the issue. If he's on slicks, I would imagine he'd be pitting as the nearest possible opportunity. But yeah, we're just doing the maths there. If Gregor Schill manages to beat the number 95 car of Declan Andrews, then we will be level on points. If he can get past Noller and then Andrews, we will be level on points, which will just be an incredible feat. 5 points the difference. Currently 5 points the difference between first and second. We will go on count back then, and the Biscuit Motorsport team will still get this championship. So unfortunately for Gregor, he has to rely on Jack Noller and he has to rely on Vicky Thompson, etc., to help him out here if they want to grab this championship.
Oh my goodness, what a train we've got going on here. They're all fighting each other to get past. That's Kaiser and Simonini duking it out right now. We've got Schill in the background as well. And the three of them just cannot get past. We're almost 3 wide into Variante Alta. And the man who loses out of that is that's going to be the Mercedes, I think. That is of course going to be Gregor Schill, just making his way up into 8th place there. And wow, this is awkward stuff for Jack Noller, because he is a moving roadblock right now, and they just can't get away past him right now. I honestly don't know what I'm watching right now. What is going on with Jack Noller?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. Again, it doesn't look as though he's going into the pits. No, he is not. Now, Jens Kaiser tried a little bit of a move on Giorgio Simonini there, quite reminiscent to what Alou Gobi was doing earlier on in the session. Now, that is a back marker just behind them. So that Lexus was a back marker. And there is Jack Noller letting the two drivers pass. That is Kaiser and Simonini. He's let them pass. So, yeah, it seems as though that Jack, whatever the issue is, I don't think it's a slick tire issue. Or maybe he's just trying to grid out the slick tires.
I think it is. You watched him on the brakes there into the corner, and he's just sliding about all over the place. Cars overtaking him left, right and centre here. There you go, that's the number 11 trying to make its way past as well. And that is actually with the back markers. That's Conway. That is Harry Conway that is trying to unlap himself, and that shows the polarity of the pace that Jack Noller just does not have right now. I 100% think it's slicks, and because of course Jankovic just pointed out the tyres have got a yellow blur on them, and that's so yes, on slicks. Again, Kaiser having a great moment.
Yeah, mistake from Kaiser. Actually, that Lamborghini there, the GTWR car right there in your shots, the 177, that's Thibaut Props. So he's actually a back marker in this battle. And there is Giorgio Simonini trying to force it there. And that is a big force it to fit move on Jens Kaiser. Kaiser will not be happy with that. He has the outside line going into the final few corners. But yeah, this is Giorgio Simonini, not the car in front. That is Thibaut Props, that is the back marker. He has nothing to do with this battle. Giorgio Simonini surely overcooks it there. And that is the classic textbook cutback from Jens Kaiser. But all the while, this is letting Gregor Schill get him up through the order, and he is going to be passing second place in Pro-Am fairly shortly, which is the stricken Jack Noller.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to look right now. This is just intense battling here at the final round 5 here at Imola of More Female Racers. Contact again on the entry. Oh, they're still side by side. Amazing stuff. Picture in picture as well here. Jack Noller somehow still in 8th place. If he is as stricken as we think he is, goodness knows how he's able to hold on to that place right now. But you can also see in the inset picture that is Kaiser and Simonini just duking it out, punching, absolutely scrapping it. There's no way he's just made that round the outside at Tosa. It's so close. You could not have wanted anything else, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere for the next 18 minutes, because this is thrilling racing we've got right now going on. Amazing stuff from Kaiser and Simonini as they go round the outside of Piratella, and it's as you were, because it's going to be Kaiser that holds on to that position. Kaiser round the outside, he's made a mistake. Simonini takes it, thank you very much, and it's on the run down to Variante Alta. Jens Kaiser is going to have to regroup. He's not as far back as you'd think, but wow. Meanwhile, poor Jack Noller is having to hobble that car home. He's now under pressure, I think, from the number 14. Is that another back marker that he's just in front of just now? We'll find out in just a second, because there is Vicky Thompson. Oh my goodness me, Connell, this is crazy.
Yeah, now Gregor Schill, I believe, has made a mistake on this lap, because Vicky Thompson is now only 3/10 off, and of course Vicky Thompson, that 587 car, is third in the Pro-Am Championship. And Gregor Schill in the 335 is second in the championship. They are separated by 8 points in this championship. So yeah, Vicky Thompson not out of the woods for leapfrogging that 335 in the standings. But I believe Gregor Schill has made a mistake. We'll see his lap time when he comes round. Yeah, it's 1:58 for Gregor Schill, so he has lost 10 seconds. 10 or 9 or 10 seconds to what his normal pace is. So that pretty much, unless Andrews himself makes a mistake, that was pretty much gifted Declan Andrews and the Biscuit team with the championship. But as we've seen throughout the course of this race, one lap can change the dynamics of this race.
Well, we'll see what happens, because Jack Noller is Gregor Schill. If he gets past him, then that changes the points altogether, and I think that's when it's all going to kick off. This is Vicky Thompson in the Edison Racing 587 machine, just behind Gregor Schill. And I mean, this is just crazy what is happening here, because what you've got to remember, and you pointed this out earlier, Coral, is the fact that these two are actually duking out for the Pro-Am title right now. The 335 and the 587, and they're catching Noller at a rate of knots right now. I just don't know how this is going to go down, Coral, and I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Yeah, we've actually seen throughout the course of the season, you see Gregor having a little bit of a moment. Surely I thought he was going to have to be forced to give that position to Vicky Thompson, but kept the drive going and has kept that position. But yes, as you say, and that is getting very, very close. And Noller is going to have to give that position up. Can't even get the car stopped. And yeah, they've both inherited positions here. Now the scrap is on 8 points separating these two in the championship. If Vicky Thompson does get
He's got the run.
Gregor Schill
side by side as they come across the line. 15 minutes left to go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the battle for Pro-Am. And oh my goodness me, Vicky Thompson side by side with Gregor Schill, and Vicky Thompson's been hit! There's contact! And Gregor Schill sends Vicky Thompson flying into the gravel sideways. They're going to rejoin. And I would have, if that was me, I would have been given that place back. Because Vicky Thompson was 3/4 ahead. Oh my goodness me, Connell. Your thoughts on that, please?
My thoughts are that it is not over. And is that Honore Rose behind these guys?
I believe it is. That is outrageous. Oh, Victoria Thompson is having none of this. Jack Noller, get out of my way. That is what she is saying right now. There goes Mia Rose. Honore Rose just up the outside there. And yeah, oh, come on. Honore is just going to absolutely steamboat Jack Noller right now. Oh, that was almost contact between the two of them, between Vicky Thompson. Oh, this is all kicking off.
This is getting so tense, and poor Jack Noller sitting there just looking at the clock going, please end my misery. Let's just get to the end of the race now, please, I beg of you. But unfortunately, he's a stack of cars. 15-second time penalty for Gregor Schill. I think that would be the incident for Vicky Thompson, or maybe it is the incident with Victoria Thompson. So that was a quick penalty given by Race Direction.
Oh, that is an absolute effing chat. And
yeah,
hang on, so that's separate. That's a separate incident he's been penalised with. It's for the 11 with Harry Conway.
So that must have been the lap that Gregor did the 158, because we've seen Gregor lose about 10 seconds and Vicky Thompson was right behind him then all of a sudden. So that must have been what the reason for the penalty was. I didn't think it was the issue with Victoria Thompson, because it was such a fast decision to give a 15-second time penalty with these championship implications. We know our stewards like to look at every possible angle before coming to a decision. So yeah, I had a suspicion it might have something to do with the reason why Gregor was doing a 158 that lap, and a 15-second time penalty has been given.
Wow, and that is, as you said, the first of well, let's see what happens here. We keep our eyes back on the race. The battle between 6th place and 7th place of Simonini and Kaiser has calmed down completely. The battle between Turkey and Sandberg is that's heating up quite nicely. 1.4 seconds. Let's get a replay then. This is on the run down. Is that Gregor Schill there? No, that's the 339. Let's have a look here. Oh, it's just locked up the brakes. The 335. Gregor Schill decides to absolutely launch himself into Harry Conway. I say decide, but when you've locked up the brakes like that, yeah, there's not much you can do, is there?
Yeah, it just looked as though the cars ahead, I think it was 4 cars ahead there, just bunched up way more than Gregor expected. Gregor was obviously coming at full tilt, and those cars were really bunched up and quite slow. And then as soon as Gregor was on the brakes, he really had nowhere to go. Chris Hartfeld, now there's another car spun around. That was one of the Bentleys that has found itself facing the wrong way. And Vicky Thompson and Noah Rose flashing lights at each other. Chris Hartfeld is going to be on the back of these. Now this is for position between Chris Hartfeld and Victoria Thompson. And Vicky has written this down surely, because now she's starting to press the leader.
Yeah, that's a bit frightening, isn't it? Right, here is the AM Championship then. Biscuit Motorsport in the lead. Pro-Am Championship. Biscuit Motorsport still in the lead, but look at that. Head to head, it's a tie between Stargirl Racing and Team Edison and 132 points. NSN MFR on 99 points, and then Moore and Freaky Racing on 94 points. This is Stargirl Racing. What has happened here? This is yeah, that's not the best, is it? Well, it's always worse seeing it from that angle, because you don't see it until the last minute, whereas we kind of got the luxury of seeing the whole thing unfold between our very eyes. And I've got no doubt there's going to be another penalty coming to the 335 team for that one. Well, this is craziness. 10 minutes left to go, and Connell, I think we need to get a lie down and a lie down now. Wow, the incident between Schill and Thompson has been deemed a racing incident. Connell, that is a controversial one.
Yeah, actually, when I was watching the onboard of Gregor Schill, it didn't look like there was any movement. You know, he kept his line and was standing on the brakes. And to me, I would have to agree with that. It was one of those things. I know if I was in Gregor's position and I got a penalty for that, I certainly wouldn't be too happy, because I would think that Victoria played her part in that too. It just looked like it coming together. I don't really think anyone was either unpredictable or drastically changed their line to cause the incident, or was overly defensive or aggressive. So yeah, I think actually a recent incident is relatively fair there.
Connell, purple lap. Get this, lap number 27, and our race leader has set a purple lap, fastest lap of the race, 1:47.6 for Honore Rose. That is incredible.
maybe he's got to hurry up with Victoria Thompson breathing down her neck. I know if Vicky Thompson was directly behind me, my pace might go up a couple of times the same way that Honore has.
Yeah, she's under a lot of pressure, and I've got to be honest, Vicky Thompson doing a sterling job of harassing her left, right and centre. But again, the pace is such that the leader has lapped up to 8th position. So Gregor Schill is going to be next on the hit list, and he's going to be wanting to keep himself out of trouble. 8 minutes 45 left to go in the final race of the season here for More Female Racers by Thrustmaster. It's David Christie and Connell Courtney taking you through all of the action. What a race we've had. This has had everything that you could possibly want in a race. If you like what you've seen here, ladies and gentlemen, remember to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the little notification bell as well, and you will keep up to date with all of the amazing content that we churn out here at SimGrid. Also hit that like button, because we're people driven by ego, and we like to see all those lovely likes come in. Also head over to thesimgrid.com and get yourself involved in the community. Come and join us on some championship races, and we could be talking about you, and we talk about you because we're not good enough to go and race ourselves. So Jens Kaiser making a move on Andrews then side by side, and that was just very, very easy, Connell.
Yeah, it was just a pretty slick move, and of course I don't think Declan Andrews will be giving up too much of a fight. 7 minutes to go, and himself and his teammate Jenny Camugli are very, very close to winning that Pro-Am championship. Just needs to finish ahead of Schill and Thompson, and that championship is indeed wrapped up. 10-second buffer. Well, actually, when you look at it, it's a 10-second plus 15-second buffer when you look at Gregor Schill's penalty. So it's 25 seconds to Schill when you add in that penalty, and 14 seconds to Victoria Thompson. This race is wrapped up. This championship is wrapped up for Declan Andrews, barring a mistake. I can see Jenny Kamugli in chat, in our YouTube chat, so I don't want to sing their praises too much and give them the old commentator's curse. But right now it does look good for that Biscuit Motorsport team in the lone Nissan this series. And who would have put the Nissan down for winning a championship in ACC? Is absolutely fantastic to see, and a credit to the two drivers.
Certainly is. 6.5 minutes left to go, and I'm just watching on the track map. It's Honore Rose just coming up to the back of Gregor Schill just now to put him a lap down, and just watching who else that she could possibly put a lap down in the remaining 6.5 minutes. And already got or almost got the move done. I can't believe Vicky Thompson's still on her tail. What pace is Vicky doing actually? Yeah, Vicky's doing 1:47.8. That is crazy fast right now. I'll tell you what that is. She's following Honore in the line that she's taken in the braking points, and by osmosis, she's taken up that pace as well. So don't put her out of taking possibly a couple of places on this.
Yeah, Vicky Thompson's absolutely no mug at all. We've seen her, of course. She was one part of the reigning champs in the Endurance Cup in season 1, of course. Herself, Chris Hoke, and Samiri Brahimi in the Ren Welton car were the winners of season 1. So she's well used to sim, well experienced, and is used to winning championships. So yeah, very impressive from Victoria Thompson. But we know the caliber of driver that she is. We always see herself and Gregor be the two drivers that pretty much race on race are the ones clawing their way up through the field, and who knows, maybe a little bit better qualifying and they could have been fighting with the substitute Declan Andrews and fighting for that championship. But Declan is doing a perfect job here. He's losing time to Gregor Schill, but it is 5 minutes to go, only a few laps left. Declan Andrews, you'd have to say he is managing that gap right now.
Yeah, just give you a little bit of an update, because there's a little change from our entry list. It was, of course, Declan Bowler, who was through the season, but it's actually Daniel Andrews who's in the car tonight, taking over the duties in that Biscuit Motorsport MFR. And what a fine job he's doing, stepping in the shoes for that team. And it's going to be a fantastic race tonight. We've got a car off. That is the 587 of Maren Edwards and Vicky Thompson. No! Vicky Thompson had a yellow flag on the last corner there. She's obviously just ran wide at Ravazza there, but it was long enough to bring up a yellow flag there. And yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. Now, just also keeping an eye through that there. There's Harry Conway just making his way out of the final corner just now. 4 minutes left to go, and it's still the Roses that are at the top of the timing screens just now. 30 laps in, and quite honestly, nobody has even come close. Nobody has even had a whisker of pace to match them right now, with the apart from Vicky Thompson on the end there. But also, Honore Rose is just coming up to the back of Gregor Schill as well. Now, this is the battle for third place. This is Jirai Turkia and having a fight off Oscar Sandberg for the Turn 1 MFR team, just coming up onto the back there. And this has been developing quite nicely over the race here. We've got a replay coming up, and let's have a look here. This is the Mercedes, the 587. This is Vicky Thompson. Then what's happened here? Oh, she's just spun it on the exit of Ravazza. A bit of a tank slapper and straight into the wall there. That's not going to do the suspension or the no claims damage any good there, Connell.
No, not exactly, and that's a real shame for Vicky, because she was having, as we mentioned many times, such a great run behind the leader Honore Rose, and that pretty much puts paid their chance of jumping Gregor Schill, or does it? Because Gregor has a 15-second time penalty. 8 seconds behind Gregor is Chris Hartfeld. 4 seconds behind is Victoria Thompson. So yeah, actually, do the maths. That is still a doable jump for Vicky Thompson when you add in Gregor Schill's time penalty. So still plenty to play for. 2 minutes 30 on the clock it is going to go down to the wire.
And remember, Gregor's going to come under pressure right now because he's got Honore Rose right on his tail as well. So this is Oscar Sandberg, though, still with Jiri Turkia just ahead of him. Cracking little battle going on right now for third place. This is for the final podium spot tonight. Surely it's going to be a mistake from one of these two that's going to hand it over. We'll keep with this battle just now and keep you updated with anything else that's happening trackside. We'll cut to a quick replay just now. Let's have a look here. This is the number 89 taking a big spin at Variante Alta. That is, of course, Ross McGregor at the NSN MFR. A very, very unusual spin there. And you're not really used to seeing that from the 89 of Denise Pope there. But back to this battle for third and fourth place then. Jiri Turkia just holding on to Oscar Sandberg, Connell. Do you think they're going to be able to do anything with this?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a go, aren't you? I mean, 1 minute 24 on the clock. I think Oscar's just going to absolutely go for it. I mean, why not? I mean, nothing to lose. It's not as though they're in the championship hunt. But what would be nice to cap off a season would be a podium, both overall and in class. So, if Oscar can get anywhere close to the back of Turkey, he is going to have a go. I have no doubt about it. He is raced just through and through, and we should see that happening.
Final lap is about to begin because across the line goes Honore Rose with 50 seconds left to go on the clock. I've also got my eye on the timing screen because Daniel Andrews is actually getting caught up quite quickly by Gregor Schill. That gap is now 3.6 seconds between the two of them, and that is going down quite quickly as well as Schill is being hounded by Honore Rose. But this has been a fantastic race. Everything that you could have wanted to see in this race has been in it and more. The battle for third and fourth has eked out a little bit as we've got a car off in the background there. That was one of the Mercedes. We'll get an idea on that. I think that was the 42 of Adrian Schuzaria, who was sideways on there. Certainly that's the car that was coming up in my time screen just now. But here we go. This is your race leader, Honore Rose. It has been a masterclass, not just tonight, but it's been every single night this season. It's been at Misano, it's been at Zandvoort, it's been at Monza, and it almost was at Silverstone, but it's been here at Imola. A stunning drive from Honore Rose down into Variante Alta for the final time. Mia Rose as well has to take massive credit for putting that car on pole and putting them in the best possible position for tonight. Remember, tonight was just an exhibition for them. They didn't need to pull out all the stops. They had the championship won and in the bag, but they've done it. They've done it in style, and they've made a big, bold statement here on Season 2 of More Female Racers by Thrustmaster. Winning Round 5 at Imola is your season champions for Pro. It's Honore Rose and Mia Rose. A wonderful win there for the 956 Jean Olacey Esports Academy outfit. An absolute exhibition, domination from start to finish, and there's nothing more you can say about that, Connell. It was just, oh my goodness me, a car going flying across the start-finish line there. That is, I guess that's a slightly dramatic way to do this, but Adam Pin says for the AAA Esports team, the pro racing team comes out of Variante Alta as well. They're going to go down towards the finish line. The next car that we really want to keep an eye on when they come down is the 95 GTR. We'll keep an eye out for them as well. But Adam Pin says it's been a quiet race for them because they've just had it all to themselves. They've really not had any pressure from anyone behind them. But round the final corner, it's a great second place for the 977, securing second place in the Pro Championship. Congratulations to AAA Esports. Adam Pinces goes across the line there, and a brilliant effort from Tamea Benzik alongside him as well. Jiri Turkia in the Team Pineapple number 8 machine is going to finish in third place there. Teammates, of course, with Sarah Johnson, and that is a cracking podium for them, and their first podium of the season, their best result so far this season. But here we go, this is the battle for Pro-Am then. Daniel Andrews, round Ravazza. It's been an exemplary drive for the GTR. Full credit. It was a brilliant drive in the first half for Jenny Camugli. Daniel Andrews hands on to take the win for Biscuit Motorsport in the Pro-Ams. Well, there we go. We said right at the start of tonight, Connell, we were writing the story, writing the final chapter. Yeah, I didn't see anything of that unfolding. I wanted drama, I wanted excitement, and it's really not disappointed us tonight.
No, absolutely not. And a huge shout out to our Pro-Am Championship winners. That is Daniel Andrews. There we go. I finally said it right. Daniel. I repeated Daniel. And yeah, big pressure actually on Daniel, of course. He was coming in as a substitute for Declan Bowler. He couldn't race this race today. And you know, it's not easy to inherit the car and then have a championship to win when it's your first race of the season. That is a very, very difficult thing to do. And of course, he was helped along the way by Jenny Camugli doing such a stellar run in her first stint. So absolutely fantastic and well-deserved Pro-Am champions.
Yeah, awesome stuff. We've had everything thrown at us tonight. We had incidents, we had drama, we've had contact, we've had folk getting sent off to the stratosphere, and everything that you could possibly expect and more. We're going to have some drivers in for some interviews very, very shortly. But yeah, it's just been a brilliant night here on the Sim Grids, and a huge thank you to Thrustmaster for making this season of more female racers possible. While we wait for some drivers to get themselves into chat and get themselves ready for their post-race interview, we'll take a very, very short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll do the rundown and the cool down from the race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we pick the pieces out of an incredible season here at More Female Racers. And I think it would only be fair if we speak to the pro champions. They knew they were the pro champions coming into tonight based on the points, but Mia and Honore Rose take the title for the Jean Lacey Esports Academy. Let's bring them both in just now. But a very warm welcome and a huge congratulations both to Mia and to Honore. A wonderful race tonight, but a dominant performance this season, ladies.
Honestly, this race, I don't know what I could say. Honestly, I think it was. I was not expecting this type of pace. I wasn't expecting us to win by an entire minute. But no, yeah, this season has been great. Honestly, I think from the get-go we were sort of the champion favourites, even when after signing up. But yeah, I think we'll take what we've got, and yeah, I think we'll go from there.
Now, Mia, talk us through the first half of that race, because obviously you put the car on pole with that blistering time, and you just kept that pace going throughout the race.
Yeah, we had sort of after about lap 3 or 4, I was having a tiny bit of issue with tyre pressure. It wasn't that major, but I was sort of a bit worried. But after it, you know, they sort of dropped, sort of got even with the tyre pressures. It was sort of just keep the pace up, but. Yeah, it was sort of... Honestly, this race, I was honestly not expecting as well the consistency I was able to pull out of the car. You know, even with the way the track was sort of... It dried out from the start and it sort of stayed at the same sort of moisture on the track. But no, I just kept the consistency up and, yeah, kept the car on track, which is the most important thing.
And Honore, coming to you, how much pressure were you getting put under from Vicky Thompson at the end, because you put her lap down, but I mean she was really following in your tracks quite well. Her pace improved massively, and she was giving you a run for your money.
Not really, actually, we were holding distance basically, because we were basically in the same pace, and I think she was also betting on the penalty Gregor had in front. So she didn't really have any reason to try a move to get in front of me and then to get in front of Gregor, because with the penalty she was in front anyway. Or that's what I think anyway.
So this one is to both of you, season champions. Will there be any celebrations tonight?
I don't know about Mia. I think she's gonna go back to bed shortly after, being Australia. And for me, yeah, probably.
Awesome stuff.
Oh,
Well, sorry.
I don't know, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously with this season, it's been a very, very strong performance, and that's a massive understatement. Just thinking, you know, is there anything that you two could have done differently, or are you perfectly happy with how this season went?
The only race I probably want to go back and rewind is probably Silverstone. Was honestly sort of, I would say, was probably even if we did finish second, just behind the map 1 car, it was still sort of our lowest point in the entire championship. Just screwing up the start, sort of really sort of really screwed up our race there. But other than that, it was sort of little mistakes here and there in all the races. But I think Monza and this one for me was probably my flawless races. So.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board this season, Mia and Anor. All the best of congratulations from everyone here at SimGrid, and we look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.
Thank you. See you next time.
See ya.
There we go. That is Mia and Anor Rose then from the Jean Lacey Esports Racing team. Your season champions for Pro will bring in P2, which is Timea and Adam, so we'll bring them in just a second. Of course, Timea Benzik and Adam Pinces. Timea and Adam, congratulations. Second place in the championship, and you two fought very, very hard tonight.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
You.
It was a good
finally,
fight.
yeah, it was finally a great race. Last week we had some problems with the tires, but this time we made the right choices. So.
And it was a solid performance from both of you. Timea, talk us through that first stint, because all hell was kicking off.
There were some incidents around me, so I thought I'd have to take good care of the tires, and this seems to be at the end the good choice, because I could take care of them very well, and we didn't have any problems. I was barely sliding on the track, so I was quite slow, but we could gain lots of time.
And after the difficulty at Silverstone, was the focus tonight on just getting a really strong finish for the championship?
Well, it was keeping calm and trying to bring the car home in P2, because we knew Anor and Mia Rose were quite strong as in the whole of the championship, so our main objective was to finish P2.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board this season. AAA Esports taking second place. Adam Pinces and Timea Benzik, thank you very much for tonight.
Thank you. Goodbye.
So we're speeding through the interviews just now because we've got so many people to have a chat with tonight. Let's go and have a chat with Charlie Martin and Oscar Sandberg, who were P7 in the Pro class. And we'll just bring them both in just now. Go to Charlie. There we go. Right, Charlie Martin and Oscar Sandberg, P7 in the Pro. It was a difficult race tonight, and pretty much everything going off all at once.
I think you have been looking wrong, actually, because we are P4 in the Pro for this race, at least.
I think it was overall in the championship.
Oh, yeah.
we had the mad Excel skills going on behind the scenes and adding up all the points. But, I mean, it was a really strong race for you tonight. In fact, one of your strongest of the season. Charlie, we'll start with yourself because, as I was saying previously, the first half hour of that race was so intense. There was just everything kicking off all around you. How did you stay calm during all of that?
I don't know, maybe just because I've been out having fun playing in the snow all day. It was quite an intense, especially the first couple of laps really with the rain and just so much traffic. It was a bit like trying to thread a needle in that first lap really, but just trying to keep my head down and just stay focused on, getting the job done really. And it was so much water though. So much water.
One of the things we mentioned was that the track can and sometimes does change on the fly as you're driving around that. Were you noticing that tonight?
Certainly towards the sort of middle and latter half of my stint, you could see, there was a dry line and it was, the grip levels were definitely changing. And I think, definitely when Oscar took over as well, it was a bit of a challenge trying to keep the tyres from overheating. But great job from Oscar, and I'm really happy with our finish. Highest finish we've had in the championship so far, so it's a nice one to go out on that result. And been really fun driving together.
And Oscar, from your point of view, that second half of the race, it was it looked like a case of just sort of knuckling down and just keeping yourself to yourself.
Yeah, you can say it that way. That's quite correct, actually. It was more about, say, taking care of the tires. This thing's like looking for every single wet spot and looking forward. I think we wanted to be best mentally today, but we tried our best. But the performance Charlie did in the first stint to just survive the first lap was amazing. I'm not sure if I would have done that, to be honest. So I really have to say that we are very, very happy with the result today. We are going out, like Charlie said, with a very strong result in the end, and I think I can confirm that we will be ready for season 3 together. Or what do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll be coming out of the blocks fighting.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that here first. Charlie Martin and Oscar Sandberg confirmed for season 3 of More Female Racers. Thank you so much for joining us this season. It's been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on your best result so far, the 4th place, and we'll see you next time.
Yes,
absolutely.
See you next season.
All the very best then to Charlie Martin and to Oscar Sandberg. Right, our final interview. Unfortunately, we've got about 50 people in the driver's waiting room. Unfortunately, we're only going to have time for one more, and we need to make that the Pro-Am winners. In fact, we've got maybe time for 2 more. So we'll get the Pro-Am winners just now. We'll get in Jenny, Daniel and Declan. And I'm tempted to let Connor do this one. And I will get our producer Michael to drag Declan in when he can. So firstly, there we go. We've got Declan Bowler in with us as well. Declan, firstly, thank you for giving us all the advice on YouTube and giving us all the insider information there, my friend. So, right, Jenny, we have to start with you because that was one heck of an opening stint from yourself in the GTR.
Thank you. Well,
talk us through that first half hour, because you were not afraid to get your sleeves rolled up and get the fight on.
Well, that was quite stressful actually. I managed to get a good position after first corner, and then I had to deal with the 4-class drivers who are much faster than I am, and I just try to build the gap to the 2 cars behind, the 335 and the 587, because I knew that after the pit stop they might catch up with us. So that's what I was focused on, building the gap. And I think I managed to do that since Dan managed to get us the winner.
Yeah, we saw the 335 getting hit with a 15-second penalty in the 587 of Victoria Thompson falling off towards the end there. But Daniel, turning towards yourself, obviously that tonight was very important for the championship, but was that ever in your mind during the race?
Oh,
Absolutely, yes. Especially with me stepping in for Deck, the last thing I wanted was to disappoint both Jenny and Deck. So, yeah, I was watching the MFD on the side, watching the Ferrari get closer and closer, but unfortunately they did get a penalty, so it was a little bit of pressure off. But yeah, it was still pretty tense for me.
And finally, for the three of you, it's a team win, and the Pro-Am Championship is yours. Is there going to be some Zoom celebrations tonight? A little bit of virtual champagne?
Probably, yes. I'm sure we'll be celebrating in one way or another, yeah.
Excellent, guys. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board this season. To Declan Bowler, to Jenny, and to Daniel Andrews, thank you so much for joining us on board and taking the win in the championship. A brilliant win there for Jenny Camugli and for Daniel Andrews and Declan Bowler in the Biscuit Team Motorsport. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.
There we are then. Let's bring in our final interview of the night, and we'll forget the fact that I just accidentally put myself into the driver's chat room there. We'll talk to Andy the Lab, we'll talk to Josie and to Alice. Now, ladies, all three of you raced in Season 1. So the first thing that I need to ask you is, what do you make of Season 2? How is it progressed?
Hello. I think Season 2's really just shown a gigantic upward trend in like the competitiveness and how fast it is. Like, there are so much more faster drivers now than there were in Season 1. If I had been a main driver, I think I would have been towards the back of Pro. And you contrast that with, like, beforehand Alice and I were finishing at the front of the grid last year, so much more talent. And that's made it a much more demanding series, which I've been enjoying.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it was quite scary to see everyone's pace. I think this season was more of a story of maturity than pace. Everybody had the technique when they started, but watching people really put their stints together, get strategies down, and start making moves on the track was something that we didn't really see in Season 1 so much. So I think it was more exciting overall, and the higher production value was really nice too. It was great.
And Andy,
the first season for me was more about survival. It was really my first time racing at all, and this season I just, you get a whole different perspective. And when you have a team of ladies that are really putting down improved time, it just really motivates you to want to get even better.
Obviously, the one thing that we've seen throughout the whole season, ladies, is the progression from everyone that's been taking part. Do you think that's more of what we'll see in Season 3?
I'm not sure. It's really hard to say, not only because we don't know who's going to be there, but also like there are so many people who are really, really ready to bring themselves up into the full-on competitive field. So if we get a lot of those people who've been really fast this season coming back in, I don't know what to say. I'm just excited.
Are you all joining us, Josie, Alice, and Andy? Are you all joining us for Season 3?
I plan to.
You couldn't keep me away.
Most definitely. If anything, if I can make a request, maybe we can make some of the races a little bit longer. I felt like today it just went by so quick.
Gentlemen, we've just had confirmed Andy the Lab is indeed a glutton for punishment, wanting longer races here. I think I can see the voice chat channel actually blowing up. Well, we'll see what happens with Season 3. But ladies, thank you so much for joining me tonight, to Josie, to Deb, and to Alice. Look forward to seeing you in Season 3, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So there we go. Connell Courtney, young man, what do you say to that? What a month it's been. What an incredible season here of More Female Racers by Thrustmaster. And bring on Season 3.
Absolutely. I mean, we can say all we want about the series and how we thought about it, but we have obviously our interests of being a part of the behind the scenes team, but that really brings it home there, the interviews that we've just heard. the benefit and the enjoyment that those ladies got from this series. It really does make it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
It certainly does. We have to say a huge thank you to our audience at home. That is you, ladies and gentlemen, watching on YouTube. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that notification icon if you want to see more of the amazing content that we pump out here at the Sim Grid. That includes Season 3 to be announced of More Female Racers by Thrustmaster, but that also means we've got the Sprint Cup coming up as well on Thursday, and that is going to be reaching its natural conclusion as well. So join us for that. That's going to be an awesome race at Kyalami at 7 p.m. We'll be live on the broadcast from 7:30, so make sure you join us from then. A huge thank you to our production team behind the scenes of Mike Yao from Simply Race, bringing you the incredible audio visual feats that you know and love here at the Sim Grid. And also a thank you to Michael Hamlet behind the scenes, our resident T-boy here at the Sim Grid. On behalf of myself, David Christie, and from Colin Courtney, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Head over to Coach Dave Academy if you want to get yourself improved and get some top quality setups. And thank you to Thrustmaster, not only for being the partner tonight of More Female Racers through the season, but for all of the support they offer us here on a daily basis at the Sim Grid. I've been David Christie. He's been Colin Courtney. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you.